Hello, so welcome back to Chaos Farm again. We are here on a different day, again with the sunshine. I'm trying to get my words out this morning and it's not happening, so excuse me. In the back you can obviously see that we've got some of the team. They're just having a bit of a coffee break and chat, which they don't normally like being on camera, but I'm trying to get them on. So you can see them just having a kind of a relax. So this is a little bit about what the farm is. So these are our volunteers. We've got Martin and Danny, and then we've got Bob who sat down as well. Obviously Bob's our horticultural lead. So Martin's actually disappeared already. They kind of, when the camera comes out, it's like they disappear. So let's go, and we're going to talk eggs today. So as we go past, we've actually got all of these seeds here, which they were our seeds from the polytunnel, not the polytunnel, sorry, the greenhouses. You can see all of them are just starting very, very, very tiny, but they're just starting to pip. So this is the Bolt Hardy, that's beetroot. We've got spinach, we've got lettuce, we've got onions, we've got more beetroot, we've got, what have we got? I can't think. We've got cauliflower, we've got cabbage. So they're all just starting to pip. So this is our second lot of planting, which we're trying to do succession planting. So basically that is once one lot is starting to crop, the other lot is coming on, and then the third lot is then starting to be planted. So it means that we've got basically a crop all year round. So what we're going to do is we're going to come this way, we're going to kind of sneak between, and we're going to come up the steps into our barn. No, you're good. Keep chatting, you're all good. So coming up into the barn. So this is where we've got all the stuff going on. As you can see, sorry guys, we're on break time. We have over here our eggs. So these are the eggs that we've got at the moment. As you can see, we've not quite got all the dates on here. But these are our Moran eggs. So what we do is put the date on and the egg. So we don't write on the egg because that can actually influence the internal parts of the egg. So when the chick is starting to hatch or starting to grow and develop. So we actually just write it on the bits in between. Hence why we have the pen here. So we haven't picked up today. So what we're going to do is go over and be very, very careful with them. We're going to go over and see what's over the other side in the chicken coop. But in the meantime, we'll leave you to break. As you can see, we've got, darting around here, quite a few eggs here. So these are the eggs that we picked up this morning from some of the chickens that we saw last week. So these are the poms, the pom-pom ones. So they're the longer, thinner ones. And I can always tell which of those because they're the Polish chickens. And then all the others, the dirtier ones. These are probably the daughters of the ones we saw last week, these ones. So lots and lots of eggs. So we'll go back out, down the steps, and then we'll kind of go across to the other side. So what we might do is we might come out, see the greenhouses, and then come back to you for a few songs because it's quite a little trek around the chickens. So we'll follow this way. Good girl, Angel. So as you can see down here, we've only got, I think it's just the tomatoes. I can't see from here, Zucca, I don't know which one that is. That might actually be the cauliflower in the pink and orange pots. That's all that's left in that greenhouse at the moment because everything else is outside as we've seen. Then down in here, so in the cold frames, we've got chard, we've got beans, we've got, I can't think what it's called, echium, more beans, kale, and all sorts in here. And I think the next one is very similar as well. So these are all the ones that we're going to be planting out. So yeah, that's similar. And this is the same again. So we've got lots and lots and lots of bits to plant out. And then up in this one, we actually have some peas, we have some broad beans, and we have some succulents. We've got kind of other different things which are ornamentals, which will all be quite nice. I'm wondering, actually, I can hear them over that side. We've got a new bed in here, so we're just going to sneak through as well. We're kind of doing a bit of a all over the farm today. And because it is it's now starting to come into spring, you can see we've got some of our overwintered plants here, which we've been given, we've kind of rescued from different places. And very excitingly, we'll come around this way, we've got at the back here, we've got this empty raised bed. So within that, we've actually emptied it out. We had the big myrtle trees which are behind you. We actually had those myrtle trees in there, but because myrtle needs to have a bigger space, this basically wasn't big enough. So all the plants that we've had in this whole secret garden, actually, we were donated from the local community, and we didn't really know what they were, and they were just little things of all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So we planted them all over the garden. They look okay everywhere else, but just here, they kind of got a little bit left behind. So we didn't really know what they were and hoped for the best, really. Another exciting thing, which here at the moment is nothing very much, but within the next few weeks, we are getting our own bees. Yay! So here, probably in the next 2 weeks, we will have a full beehive with our own colony of bees, which is just so exciting. I'm really, really looking forward to it, because this little secret garden is such a sun trap. And in the summer, once everything starts to bloom, there's always bees, birds, butterflies, caterpillars. There's everything you can imagine here. So it's a really, really good spot for them. So I'm hoping within the next 6 months, we'll have, well, probably won't be until September. So we'll have the beehive here, and from September, October, we should have some of our own honey, which I'm so excited about. I love honey on my crumpets. So I'm really, really excited about that one. So once we've got them, we'll come out very quietly, and we'll just have a little sneaky peek and see what they're doing and how they're getting on. I've been told that we don't have to do anything with them at all. We just have to check them, and Martin's our bee man. He's part of the beekeeping society, so he is incredibly knowledgeable about it. He's got lots of sources that he can actually ask if he doesn't know as well. So he's actually going to be our main bee man when the bees come. So imagine this in a few weeks' time. This is going to be a beehive with lots of bees, and then in 6 to 8 months' time, we're going to have our own honey. So excited. Anyway, before I get too excited, what we'll do is we'll come back to you in the studio for a couple of songs, and then we're going to go over the other side. We're going to pick up some eggs, and we're going to see the raised beds and some of the planting from here going out. So we'll see you maybe in 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so we're back over, we've just come from the barn. We're now back over this side, and these chickies in here, these handsome chaps, well, chap and chapesses, these are our Moran chickens. So this is our rooster booster. He's actually quite friendly, but he doesn't really like being caught. But these guys are the ones that we saw the eggs a moment ago. So the 2 black ones are the hens, and this one here closest to us is the rooster. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to check for eggs. Because each day we have to check twice to 3 times a day to see if the eggs come in. So as you can see, they're just watching us. They're not too bothered. But these guys, they're now, what, 6, 7, 8, 7 months old. But we have got just outside, there's just beside us a moment ago, there was a different hutch. So this one, it's a little bit small for them really, because as you can see, they're quite big. They do need a little bit bigger enclosure, hutch really. So what we've got is another one to swap into here. So this will be different. What we're going to do, I don't know if there is any eggies in here, so we check. Nope, no eggs in there yet. No eggs in there. So we'll check again after lunch, just to see if there's any eggs in there. But as you can see, their food takes up quite a bit of the enclosure, or the coop. And you can see they're actually talking to the 2 turkeys that we've separated off, which at the moment they're just literally in there, just so that they're not beaten up. And we are hopefully having the chicken wire, or the new fencing this week, which would be great. But these guys are so handsome, and you can see the feathers have got a real petrol-y look. So in the sun, they get that real purpley, greeny gleam, especially the black hens. Oh, he's having a stretch. Rooster booster, and the rooster's tail is the same. They're so handsome, and obviously these guys aren't fully grown yet. They are less than a year. So once they're fully grown, their plumage and their feathers will be so much different. Oops. So that's Silver the turkey. That's the turkey hen, and then Onesie, our one-eyed turkey, is the other side as well. So chickens are something that I could watch for ages because I just like to kind of watch them, and they're scratching and they're chatting to each other really, and you can always hear them just making little cluck cluck clucks. So as we were saying in last week's show, was it last week's show or this morning? I can't think when it was. When we saw the turkeys, I think it was last week. So when we actually get our chicken wire, which hopefully is going to be the end of this week, we are going to have the big enclosure at the bottom of the field. These guys will be in there, kind of separate from the turkeys and the other chickens. But then they'll actually be more free range. So rather than in, although this is quite a good sized run, it's still nicer for them to actually have free range and have lots of space really. And then we'll see what they do then, because their behaviour will probably change again because it's a slightly different area, slightly different space, and obviously there'll be a lot more grass, there'll be a lot more kind of foraging material really. As you can see, they have kind of in places foraged most of it bare, unfortunately, but hopefully now, because we're coming into the kind of the warmer months, the grass will start growing again. There'll be plenty more bugs and bees and, well, not bees for the chickens, but there'll be plenty more kind of bugs and bits and pieces that they can be foraging for. Hi chickies! Chicks. But as you can see, the hens, they're licking and scratching and constantly doing something. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come out and we're going to come down to see Bob. So Bob has got some bits and pieces that he's doing down here with Martin. I think Martin's getting up some other bits. And we're going to have a bit of a chat to them about the raised beds and the beans. So let's go out. Oops, sorry. So make sure we close this up. And again, just like with the turkeys, we have got the fox-proof fencing that kind of goes right the way around. And as you can see here, this is where it's actually connected onto the mains. So this will be probably a lot stronger than down at the turkeys. So I certainly do not want to be hitting myself on that. So let's follow down this way. Hey Bob.
I've got my cat on.
Oh, so Bob's got fluffies, and our microphones, because it's a little bit breezy today, they keep kind of falling off. So Bob's stuck his in his pocket at the moment. So what we're looking at here is, it looks a little bit Heath Robinson, I have to say, but it worked. And the reason why, we've got the beautiful raised beds with the beans in there, and then we've got kind of old bits of metal and trampoline that is actually...
Really selling it.
We're using everything we've got. So it's keeping it up, basically because the big pile of plastic you can see down here, we've had the plastic on it over the beans because we've got rabbits. How do we know we've got rabbits? Because we've got rabbit poos. So there is somewhere, if I can find it again, somewhere around here, there's a big pile of fresh rabbit poos, and rabbits love nothing better, can't even find it now, don't know where it is, but rabbits love nothing better than fresh greens. So we found rabbits, Farmer Dave has actually seen some rabbits out here as well, so rather than leaving the beans open without the kind of the hoops, we've left them, we've kind of planted them, then put the hoops over the top. And the idea is the hoops over the top have this plastic over them, and then it keeps them basically like a mini polytunnel, if you like. So it keeps the beans kind of enclosed, keeps them nice and warm, stops too much cold air or kind of the weather we did have, we had a lot of rain and some hail, so it protects them from that as well as the rabbits. So once we've got the chicken fencing that I've been saying about for the chickens and turkeys and everything, it will actually keep all the rabbits out as well. That's the plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to catch up with Bob. So Bob, can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing? So you've got obviously the beans, but back behind we can see there's another kind of bed. So can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the first beds were off of Free Cycle. One of our volunteers, Martin, found them for us off of Free Cycle. These others are old timbers that we've got out of the barns and things, so they're not really of any use for actual construction anymore. So they'll probably do us a couple of years for raised beds. So the idea really with the raised bed is the ground's still quite wet after the amount of rain we've had. I mean, the sun will be helping, but it just allows us to put some dry compost in with the soil to dry it out a bit. We'll get a bit more drainage, and like Jess was saying, we can put some protective covers over them as well, just to keep the excess rain off and the rabbits out. So we're basically just going to knock up as many raised beds as we can. I think that it makes it, a nice simple layout for people to get their head round in terms of the market garden. What's going to be our growing space, what's going to be our paths, just simple management basically. So
Cool. So in the raised bed that you've just made, and obviously it's still got compost to go in, and the future ones, is it going to be the beans? Is it going to be, what veg is going to go in there?
Probably a mix. We'll try a bit. I'm quite keen on trying different things. So we were working quite late finishing this one. It was blowing a gale and it was pitch black, but we managed to get them in. So we've got various things to plant out. We've still got the kale, the onions, and the broad beans to plant out. I don't think there's anything else, is there?
We've got garlic. Would that go out? Or
garlic
beans?
as well as onions,
peas. Sorry.
So I'll probably do a mix of things. Some of the broad beans will go in the ground as well, and it'll be interesting to see what, if it makes that much of a difference. We might find that it's a lot of work and we're not really getting much better crop out of it. So maybe some kale will go in these next ones, and then that clears some space for us in the cold frames, and we can see if they like that more than being in the ground.
So I'm curious, there's a big space this side and you put the raised bed that side. Is that because it's better ground that side, or?
Yeah, David didn't, if you remember, we had the trees healed in here.
Yeah.
So David didn't plough
this bit as much.
Okay. And you can see almost the last run he did was there. So I've literally done it just because it made that much of a difference in the depth when I was digging it. I could feel that had been worked a bit more, yeah.
So is that because it's heavier soil, or what's that difference that you can feel?
Well, if we were planting straight into the ground there, the roots would be straight to the bottom of the plough pan, so there wouldn't be any drainage.
So they'd be sitting in water.
They'd be sitting in water if we got a lot more rain. So, yeah. But where he's actually ploughed further, there's a little bit more depth. So I've got a spade and a half, a spit and a half, and it will.
So it's better drainage, better
drainage. Yeah. You go. Modern veg just wants pampering. That's it doesn't want to have to contend with floods and things like that. So
very good. So we'll let you carry on. We can see Martin's over there. We've got something else. He's got more planks of wood.
Yeah, we're just gonna use what we can.
So the beauty with what we do is basically because we've got kind of different bits of barns everywhere, and we've got the beach that's quite close, and we've got people like Martin that go on Free Cycle and find kind of all sorts of different weird and wonderful things that other people aren't wanting, then we can actually make a lot from not very much. And because our funds are quite slim, because we are a CIC, and all of the profit that we get, we kind of put back into the project. We try to do anything we can and be creative wherever we can. So these beds, as Bob said, they were from Free Cycle, so the original grey ones with the funny hoops, which is why we've got hoops from the trampolines that we've taken apart. And we are basically using anything. So although it looks a bit funny, actually the veg doesn't mind. It just looks a little bit Heath Robinson, but it works. It's functional, it's effective, and the plant don't mind. So it does the job. The other bits and pieces that you can see they're kind of different old planks from different buildings that we've actually, different parts of the barn that we've actually kind of taken apart, or we've kind of started to rejuvenate, started to change and basically give it a bit of a pamper. So rather than it being wasted wood, so I don't know, burnt or just kind of dumped somewhere, we're actually using it so it has a second life. So rather than everything just seeing it as a waste, we're trying to actually use it and see it as it having another life. So our plant stall, even our plant stall, was made from pallets. So we had lots of pallets and kind of wood that we'd got from different bits and pieces in different places, and actually Martin's managed to put them all together, and Joe's painted them and Ness painted them, and it looks really effective. And it goes to show that actually you can make anything from nothing. So it doesn't need to be necessarily something that you think, oh, this is beautifully brand new. It can actually be something that's had a life, that actually can still have a bit more of a life, just as long as it's not diseased or it's not damaged too much. You can use it, or we can use it in any way. So if you have any spare tools, any watering cans, anything like old sheds that you think that they're no good, let us know, because actually we can do a lot with them. So yeah, I think it's just a case of reusing, and rather than thinking that everything has a certain life, actually be a little bit more creative and think outside the box. So as you can see, they've now disappeared again to go and kind of ferret off for something else, I'd imagine. And yeah, the beans, they're looking quite good. I don't know if we have a little bit of a closer look. We best walk on the plank. So we've got these planks, and you can see around the edge of the beans, there's the kind of the hardened area rather than the softer area that's been ploughed and worked down. But you can actually see they're looking really good. And they're putting on new shoots, so you can see new growth in the inside. All of them actually, in fact, they've all got new growth coming, which is really, really good. So despite having it looking a little bit not so good, they are growing. And this one has even got a few little tendrils that are coming off. So these are the parts here. I don't know if you can see it, it's so tiny. Those are what actually climb onto different bamboos, so obviously, or different canes. So once these are a little bit bigger, all this metalwork will come off, and they'll actually be able to shoot up and have support within the raised bed. So yeah, that is it. I mean, you can see that the wood on this second raised bed, it is old, and it probably wouldn't be much good for anything other than a raised bed. But with a little bit of creativity and imagination, it has another life. It can be repurposed. And the turkeys and chickens are all growing now. So I'm not quite sure. There's a blackbird over there somewhere. Something set them off. But they're all chattering. So apart from me eating my hair, I think we are done for today. What we might be doing is having a little bit of a break while the farm catches up, because obviously the next few weeks, with the warmer, drier weather, we're going to be doing a lot of planting. There's going to be a lot of potatoes, a lot of kale, a lot of spinach, cabbage, lettuces, lots and lots and lots of planting going on. Hopefully this wind will die down. I really, really hope it will, and we can get our third polytunnel up, because we are desperate to get it up. Everything is ready to go. We just need the wind to die down just that little bit, because as you can see from my hair, the wind at the moment it's a little bit kind of gusty, so we can't actually put the polytunnel up until the wind is settled right down. And previously we had the rain to contend with and everything else, so the holes that we actually made were filled up with water. We couldn't put any of the cement in the holes, so we couldn't actually fix it. So now the structure is actually up, which is good. We just need this wind to die down so that we can actually get the polystyrene, not the polystyrene, the polythene over the top. Because as soon as we get it out in this weather, will go off like a kite, and we'll all be taken away with it, because it's quite a large piece of plastic covering the polythene that needs to go over the top. So we do need the wind to die down. So please, please, please let the wind die down, and then hopefully in the next kind of few weeks we'll be able to show you the polytunnel up. So once we've caught up, we've kind of got it all together, hopefully then we'll be able to come back to you and show you lots more of the farm. Excuse me, that's gusty and eating my hair. So in the meantime, take care, and we will see you in a few weeks' time.